Not that kind of Christian here, posting on my own behalf, but if I happen to mention my church, in fact, I think I will mention my church, I might even put in a link to the Methodist Community Hub there at Magdalen Way Methodist Church. Here is shortly a symbol that is going to be seen a lot, and it's already coming through my letterbox because I do subscribe to, as I'm sure many of you do, to the Poppy Appeal, the Royal British Legion. We have somebody in my church who I believe was involved in a military role, if I have got this person right. They do tell me they were involved as a service chaplain. They are called, well, they know who they are. Okay, now with that in mind, I'm thinking particularly of this First World War poet whose name was Geoffrey Studdert Kennedy, also known as Woodbine Willie. Yep, here are some pictures because I think pictures are good these days, especially now we've got the internet. Let's try not to get any reflection on them, but there he is. His words, I have to turn this around because I can't read backwards. I think that says a seeker after truth. There he is dressed in his military uniform. Actually, that would have been battle dress, believe it or not. They actually went into battle. And there is his dog collar. I believe he was a bit of a nonconformist, actually. But an absolute hero of mine. And just let's get a bit churchy, shall we? Yeah, get a bit churchy. Judith, I'm going a bit churchy. I learnt of this man and his poem, Well, from an industrial chaplain at Leicester Polytechnic. Judith, I believe you've been to several colleges as well. Yeah, great. I have too. I learnt of him from a chaplain at what was then Leicester Polytechnic. Good grief, I'm going to have a cup of tea actually, because he was always known for going around handing out the woodbines, making cups of tea, and a lot of other padres. Well, let me just give you one quick line talking of padres from an extract of his famous dialect poem called Well that I'm going to read here. And that line is, the poem begins, it's an ordinary soldier just thinking about the future, you know. I mean, like, as in you might get blown to bits by a shell, like his friend did, a Bosch 5.9 pill. I remember the exact quote from the poem. There came a burst between his legs, and all he picked up of his friend was his corporal stripes. That were all that were left of Bill. I'm going to have to pause this. I'll pause while I have my tea, okay? I got a mind like a butterfly. It flits to and forth, having a few mental health issues at the moment, by the way. I want you to know that at Magway Methodist Church. Judith, I think you've probably already worked that out by now. Right, but let me just get back to what I was going to say about his mate. No, not about his mate, Padre. And it begins, the poem. Studdert Kennedy begins this poem with the absolutely incredible words. Our Padre were a solemn bloke. We called him Dismal Jim. It fairly gave you blooming creeps to sit and hark at him. I know this bit by heart, so I'll just repeat it. When he were on with Judgment Day and how each bloke would have to stand before that great white throne and answer on his own, fairly gave you blooming creeps to sit and hark at him. Can you imagine there, Padre? Let us pray for those who are about to enter this battle. Oh Lord, bless our troops. Oh Lord, bring holy victory unto our soldiers as they face up to the enemy in the other trench. Please grant that they may obtain victory for democracy, Christianity, and the whole of the Christian world. Amen. Judith, you ever met chaplains like that? Yeah. If you were involved in army chaplaincy, I don't know, but have you ever met chaplains like that? Well, clearly, they were not a chaplain like Studdert Kennedy, known as Woodbine Willie, known for passing out woodbines, hence the name. I don't know if he passed them out before or after the communion service, I'm not sure. Military man. My father was a military man. Wonderful man. Major Albert Edward Linford, RAOC. It has even been suggested by somebody in my church that I might even bring an old War Department prayer book of all things that we found amongst his things, along with his Sam Brown. I'm sure chaplains will have seen Sam Brown's. I think actually in his battle dress, the Reverend G.A. Studdert Kennedy is wearing a Sam Brown, just a totally useless piece of information. Apparently, the strap, if you like, the belt with the over the shoulder sort of diagonal piece, and the belt on which this officer would actually be able to carry his sword, and he would also carry his pistol. Yeah, but apparently it was designed by an awfully short officer. This is the way the story goes, called, believe it or not, Sam Brown. And he got a bit fed up with having to clip loads and loads of things to him, probably because he was a bit short. I think maybe his belt kept slipping down or something. So he designed this leather gear. I'm sorry, I'm going to get totally distracted here. That you could just pop over your shoulder and made everything nice and secure. Right, this was going to be more of a reading from the poem, but I'm not actually going to do that. I'm just going to encourage you all, as we come up to Remembrance Sunday, just go online, search Royal British Legion, and for all people who have served in the military, past and present, who have been mentally, physically, emotionally scarred for the rest of their lives. I offer you my prayers. I ask that God will look kindly upon you. Take care, folks. Don't forget our meeting, and the person in our church will know of that meeting. Let's hope for us all it goes well and is constructive. Bye.